emerging communities worldwide. We broadcast diverse international content from Europe, Asia, Africa, and now right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Submit your own content to 1530entertainmentllc@gmail.com. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV.
To today's America, Millennium News 24/7. Viewers, so many things happening these days worldwide. Eastern Europe to all over North America and Middle East to Africa. We're going to talk about these things today. We have a special guest today, Morgan. He is the geopolitical analyst, also our mental health activist Mila from Germany, and our co-host Todd David Goldfinger. All of you, welcome to the Today's America and Millennium News 24/7. Mr. Morgan, brother, please introduce yourself to our viewers.
Well, thank you for having me. Like you said, my name is Morgan, and I am a father, a musician, and I guess a geopolitical curiosity kind of person. You know, I mean, there's a lot going on, and a lot of reasons why there's a lot going on. And it's kind of been my thrust to try to unravel it and get a better understanding of what causes things, what doesn't cause things, what the end result of the causes are. So these days, something can't happen without it affecting the rest of the world, right? That's just where we live. So
very good. Todd?
Yes.
Please
Thank you, Morgan, for being on the show.
Thank you, Brad.
Viewers,
Yes, sir.
we're going to talk about today our Eastern Europe. Again, we see 1939 to 1945, what's happened, what is the Hitler did, whole Europe, also Russia. Same thing, Russian President Putin started right now. They're destroying hospitals, army hospitals, public hospitals, everything, residents, whatever they get, everything. Morgan, what do you think Eastern Europe fighting? Do you have any idea, my brother?
Well, from what I've been able to gather, I don't think that it's an even comparison. You know, these pictures of half Putin, half Hitler is not necessarily an equal comparison.
He bombed an orphanage. I mean,
I'm not
this
saying that
is,
that's a good thing to do.
This
I mean,
is like
the only
Hitler-esque.
Well, okay, so first of all, let's go back to 2014, 2015 and talk about the color revolutions in the Ukraine. And the muscle that was provided to incite the violence in the colored revolutions were neo-Nazis. This is called the Azov Battalion. They have a very strong presence in Ukraine, and they hate all Russian-speaking people. Now, if that doesn't sound like a Nazism, I don't know what does, to eliminate all Russian-speaking people from the Ukraine.
But this was a small group of society, you're saying?
No, it's a very large aspect of Ukrainian society, actually.
So it doesn't have to. I have a question for you, real quick, before you continue. In Eastern Europe, all of these kinds of right-wing things were rising up, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, but from my understanding, the strongest outbreak of it was in the Ukraine, and our government under the Obama presidency fomented this coup in 2014, 2015. So what we're facing right now is a complete end result of our own personal meddling in the country of Ukraine. Now, our current president, if you want to call him that, has legions of dealings in the Ukraine. There's a lot of dirty stuff that happens in that country, money laundering, white slavery. Okay, I'm not endorsing Putin's actions, and I'm not...
White slavery? What do you... I've been to Ukraine. I was in Lviv in 2019. There was no slavery. It was a freer country than where we're living,
Todd,
sir.
What white slavery does not happen on the surface. Okay, the sex trafficking happens under the surface. You wouldn't see it. Okay, what I'm saying is that Ukraine was used as a filtering thing for the dirtier aspects of our political power structure. This is where all the money laundering happens. It goes through that country. Now,
that's a big accusation.
It's a huge
Where did you get your data? Where did your data come from?
It comes from a lot of different places, because I listen to a lot of different things. And the one thing that I can guarantee you is that when all of the world's media, especially American media, has jumped from the COVID train to the Ukraine train, they're missing.
It's not a Ukraine train, it's a humanitarian crisis.
Yes.
Mila, help us out, please.
The people that suffer
Mila's in Europe.
Listen, Todd,
are
give him chance to say. He have a voice. Then we can analyze. Okay, please. Go ahead, Morgan.
Well, I'm not condoning the actions of bombing the residents of Ukraine. The only people that really suffer in war are the actual people on the ground. The governments are doing everything over the top, and everyone else has to take the heat and the hits and the death and the destruction and all that horrible stuff. It's never good. But in order to really understand what's going on there, you have to see it from the higher up on both sides. Okay? You have, in the Ukraine, our deep state, our corrupt power structure.
Deep state?
Yes, the deep state.
What's that?
Don't
What the
act
hell
like
is
you don't
that?
know what the deep state is.
No, I don't know. Sorry.
Yes.
I have no brain. I don't know.
Todd,
The deep state are the power structure that exists outside of the presidencies, outside of the elected officials. These people remain over decades, okay? And they have an agenda. And it has nothing to do with taking care of our country or other countries. It's about power, okay? This is what NATO is. You look at NATO, NATO's job is to go around and step on the necks of smaller countries and say, let us in and give us access, or, you know what, maybe you'll be all right. And that's a bully, okay? That is not a helpful person. That is not a helpful organization. Now, put yourself in the shoes of Russia. They have NATO on their doorstep. NATO wants to take Russia out, okay?
There's a reason for that.
Well, hold on a second. I'm not done, okay? Everything's been turned around on this. And again, I'm not saying that I support 100% Putin's actions. I'm just trying to get to the bottom of
100%.
what's
How can you
happening.
support Putin at all?
Todd, let me finish.
go ahead. Go ahead, please.
Okay? Putin kicked the Rothschilds out of Russia. You know who the Rothschilds are?
Yeah, Jewish family.
More than the Jewish family, Todd.
No.
Okay?
Russia is a world financial mogul, you know.
Yes, exactly.
Exactly. And he's supporting whole of the world. He control everything, financial sector.
And when Putin kicked them out, he didn't allow them to come in and do what they did to us out of the Federal Reserve System. That was all Rothschild control. That's why our money is so messed up. and he didn't allow that to happen. Now he for better or for worse.
You're blaming Jewish people.
I'm not blaming Jewish people, Todd. Do not do that to me.
It's not what it's about. It's not
what it's about, Todd. Do not.
Well, explain to the audience then.
Don't call
because I
that
don't
with me,
know.
Todd. I'm telling you right now.
Explain to the
Don't
audience.
call that with me.
Explain to the audience then. Then explain to the audience, because if I have a question, then the audience
Todd,
will
Todd,
You asked me to be on this show.
Todd.
You asked me to be here.
Todd,
Don't do that to me.
Todd, what's happened with
Don't
you?
dare.
Relax. Relax. Give the gentleman his voice.
You're not
Okay?
doing that to me, Todd.
Please. Go ahead, Morgan. Finish.
I'm done.
You done?
Let someone else done.
Okay.
I'm not going to stand here and get accused of being
Mila.
because I'm trying to explain the geopolitical.
Right. Okay. Yes.
Morgan,
The
please.
whole part of all this, part of what we are being exposed to has exactly that point to it, that we're supposed to be arguing, we're supposed to be disagreeing, so that we never get anywhere. That's part of it. We have to open up, and we have to not be afraid and not judge. That's what happens when you hear that they're Jewish, then you feel very touched and shocked by that, and I respect your feeling of being shocked by that, but this is where we have to realize that we have to calm down, because we're never going to get anywhere. We have to open up and at least have that courage to hear someone out and try to understand, and instead of getting upset, ask more questions, but remain calm and do everything you can to never start arguing. Raising voices and arguing, that's exactly what they want us to do, because then we'll never get anywhere.
Thank you, Mila. Welcome to Mila, our show today. I know it's very tough. You working round the clock. Thank you very much to come over. Todd, floor is yours. You can ask whatever you need. Please.
I have a lot of questions for Morgan. I have a lot of questions for Mila. I want to get to the bottom of this. I want to hear what's going on, because if I don't know, the public probably doesn't know too.
How you know?
Well, there's a reason why they
That's
don't.
why I'm asking you. So when you're getting triggered by what I'm saying it for a reason, though. And I'm very calm, by the way. Thank you.
Okay. No. You have any question? You gonna ask Morgan?
I want these two speak.
Go ahead.
Please go on. Please go on, Morgan. It's very important. Don't let yourself.
The reason why most people don't know this stuff is because they're not told it on purpose. Because it doesn't fit the narrative. Last time we were talking about the narrative of COVID and the narrative of needing to go to someone with their authority to get your help. Okay? This is another example of narrative. Now, you being triggered, you were triggered. That's why you asked that question. That all of a sudden, it's not about geopolitics anymore. It's about the fact that these people are Jewish, right? And that takes us back to once you say that, once you throw up that sign of you're anti-Jewish, then
I didn't say you're anti-Jewish. I said that's not. Can I explain myself? I want to explain myself. Can I explain myself?
Go ahead.
The reason I even brought it up is because I don't want it to happen that people get the wrong idea. There's a lot of people out there that can get wrong little bits of information, half information. That's dangerous. That's bad. That's really bad.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to tell
And most
you
of them are watching the mainstream media.
is going into it. This is not mainstream media, for the record, okay?
That's why I'm on it.
That's why we're doing this, and that's why I'm also explaining myself, because I'm wanting you to speak next. Okay? Got it? Okay, here goes. Me, as a quote-unquote, at least half-Jewish person, I'm saying, watch what you say about these things, because I'm just put a disclaimer. Can I put a disclaimer, or am I not allowed to do that?
Go ahead.
Can I put a disclaimer?
You do what you want. I don't have
I want to put a disclaimer. I have to fight to put a disclaimer. We're not targeting anyone. We're not going after anyone. We're a peaceful network, okay? We are just telling everybody's truth. Everybody's going to speak their truth, okay? I'm going to allow for this, but I also want you to know we cannot engage in dangerous rhetoric that will endanger sensitive people, including myself. Thank you. Thank you. Listen, thank you. That's all I had to say, and now you're welcome to go on. Thank you.
Morgan.
The dangerous rhetoric is that the country of Ukraine supported Nazistic ideology, okay? And yet people are making memes painting Putin as Hitler. Okay,
Because
something
he
there is upside down.
is. Because he is.
Yeah,
very
sure, it's
right.
understandable. It's understandable. It resembles the past. Yes, it does. But again, let's not argue and nitpick. Let's like really try to get things explained. To
Okay,
get
let
things out in
me
the
back
open.
up a little bit. Let me back up a little bit. Let's start from the point where Putin, okay, who is not a good guy, and I don't really think I should paint him as a bad guy either. He is a ruler of a country. And I'm being very neutral here to get the entire story across. Okay? I have no dog in this fight, except for the people on either side that are being hurt. And so far, nobody in Russia has really been hurt. Putin doesn't allow the Rothschilds to come in and rape his country. They are a financially independent, energy independent country. Now, if you've done any study on the Rothschilds and how they operate, and have operated since the 1700s, when Mayor Amschel Rothschild says, "I care not who makes the laws, give me the power to create money, and I care not who makes the laws." All right, I'm paraphrasing, but that is a quote from Mayor Amschel Rothschild. They have practiced this throughout the world, okay, for decades and decades and decades and centuries. Our country is in the inflation, the hyperinflation mess it is because of the fiat currency that their system has instated. Now, this is not about being Jewish. It has nothing to do with that. And that, I feel, is a cover sometimes. When people throw that up, they say, "Oh, but you can't talk about that because they're Jewish." But look at what they've done for centuries. You need to talk about
They?
this.
For centuries? Who's they?
The Rothschilds.
For centuries? The Rothschilds for centuries.
Yes.
Yes.
More than that. More than that. Roch, the guy,
Yeah.
they control more than that. More than century, okay? They are generation part by part, they are controlling world financial and economic sector. They controlling everything, not our Reserve Bank, okay? We are,
No,
go ahead.
sorry, Nick. You can finish.
World is crisis. The Morgan bring the traffic. Ukraine have a lot of issue, and they are deep state. If we can check everything, like our Washington was a deep state, still is deep state. Deep state means they talking one thing, doing other things. Number one, and so many lobbyists, all organization they hire the lobbyists. Same thing happened in Ukraine. So many leader, so many corrupt leader, and so many lobbyists, and they have a big deep state over there. So many crime going on over there. Used to be. I don't know. Right now is war. So many, cyber attack. So many things coming from where? Ukraine. We know that, but they are in crisis now. They are human being, and they are human being. They are we have a blood. They have a blood. Whatever they are religious, whatever their color, they are human being. We have to help them, no matter what. They are Jewish, Muslim, Christian, Hindus, whatever is it. Don't bring the religious. Bring them as a human. What we can do for them. May I right, Morgan?
Yes, 100%.
So,
The regular humans suffer while the other people play around with money and power.
Mila, do you have any topic to say?
So far, I just fully agree, and I know some of those things, and yeah, wow, like Todd said to me earlier, that to be here now in Europe is suddenly a different thing. is suddenly not nice. I would love to just be far away, but then on the other hand, that's also crazy to where are you going to run to, you know? Because if it should go there where everybody fears it to go, then it doesn't really matter where you are on the planet. So that's completely ridiculous, and we shouldn't also fall for being scared. That it all the time is fears. It's so important to remember that all the way through.
Mm-hmm.
That's an inner work that we all are responsible to do. We have to do that because nothing makes us more stupid than when we're scared. And they know that, and that's why they want us to be scared and arguing.
You know, you are 100% right. Like 2014 to 2022 January, Russian parliament, Russian president urged the world, solve the problem, solve the issue, every year, every month, every week. But our European and American, we don't do that. You know, we do not do our job, our part. That's why Russia attack their neighbor. You know, they don't want any NATO's or European Union their door. This is the reason. But these things, whatever they did, is geopolitics, number one. And our European Union and NATO, whatever they're doing right now, everyone knows. Millions of people coming from Ukraine now. And our good friend Britain, they're only taking 700. You guys know that? They're going to take only 700. You know, this is what?
700 refugees?
What?
700 refugees? That's all it takes?
Exactly. They pass the parliament, they can take 700. What is this? What is going on? What kind of democracy they have in Britain? You know, millions of people taking Netherlands. They're taking over 2 million people. Germany, more than 2 million people. Austria, over 195,000. So many people, you know, country taking, but Britain only 700. So we are part of America. Who pushing the America? Britain. Britain intelligence and Britain king and kingdom. You know. So we don't want that. You know, we don't want these things. We are free country and we are paying our tax, our share. We have to build ourselves, and we can bring refugee whatever we want, immigrant whatever we want. We don't have to hear from the Britain, you know. So anyway, Todd, the world is getting totally nasty and crazy with politics. Now millions of people victim in Ukrainian, and Europe and America, they make the politics, and now Ukrainian get victimized. General public victimized. You know, politician is not victimized. General public. So what is our job? And we can criticize Russia. We can criticize Putin. He is the killer. We know that. He killed so many people, his country. But he tried to, you know, secure his border. We don't do that. What are we going to do now? What is our job? Morgan?
That's a very good question. And I'm really not sure where this is going to head. You know, I really hope this doesn't turn into a world conflict. I feel like there are people that really want this to turn into a world conflict. And those people, they're not doing it for the right reasons. This is something that maybe was inevitable considering the history of Ukraine and Russia. There's always been tension there. But I don't think this had to erupt the way it did. I think it's a matter of really poking and poking and poking and poking. And then you get the lashback, and the lashback's very, very bad. And is without measure. And I really don't know where this is going to go. I hope that our citizens don't end up having to go and fight in a very confusing situation and lose their lives But at the same time, how do we help? How do we help these people? You know, the West has had a policy of bringing in all these refugees from Syria and all these other places. And when you said no refugees, you were considered a bad person, like you were anti-humanitarian. But like you said, Tofader, I mean, Britain was only bringing in 700 Ukrainians, but they had boatloads of Syrians coming in just a couple of years ago. So where's the balance there? I don't know. You know, the West has also practiced weaponized immigration. You know, they like to bring people in that they feel are going to end up voting in a particular way, and that's kind of all I'll say about that. But it's not a healthy atmosphere that we're living in right now, and I do feel that this was almost you could call it coming as soon as 2020 happened. With you know who being in the White House, his ties to Ukraine, I felt like this was inevitable, and I really don't know. I don't know where it's going to go. All I do is pray and try to send the best energy out of the world I can, while doing my best to understand all of the contributing factors and not just getting swept up in the emotional hysteria of the moment, which is understandable. People are dying. People are having their complete world ripped apart. That's very understandable.
Children are being killed.
Yes, which happens in every conflagration around the world.
Doesn't make it okay. Does not make it okay.
Even the ones that don't make it onto the news. Okay?
Gentlemen, and Morgan, Todd, Mila, we are going to short break. Please stay with us, brother. Viewers, we are going to short break. Please.
Millennium TV, bridging communities worldwide. We broadcast diverse international content from Europe, Asia, Africa, and now right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Submit your own content to 1530entertainmentllc@gmail.com. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV.
Viewers, we are back again. Today's America, Millennium News 24/7. Now we're going to talk about disaster, Ukraine, Europe. Who make the disaster? Why it happened? Why we are looking for right now? And we do not help any Air Force, Navy, nothing. We just help arms, ammunition, not even tank. So what kind of help we are doing? We are seeing worldwide, Russia welcome from Africa to all the way Middle East to South Asia. So many people joined Russian army. Chechenian Muslim, they are joining thousands of people, Russian army. Same thing, Senegal, Mali, and Nigeria. So many thousands of people, they are joining Russian army. They give the Russian citizenship. You know, so this is going to be Muslim, Christian, and Jewish fight, or this is country to country? Morgan?
You know, it really is kind of shaping up to read like the last chapter of the Bible, you know, and that's just, it could be a coincidence. I don't know, you know.
What was the last chapter in the Bible?
It's called Revelations.
Thanks.
It's you know, it's basically the script for the end of the world. Let's say that. I'm not, you know, out there thumping it and telling everybody that they're going to die and they need to repent. I'm just saying that it is
Morgan,
it's a curious way.
Morgan, I'm going to interfere you. Last chapter also say, I make the human being. God say, I make the human being. You guys cannot kill each other. Have to be respect, love, peace. All religious, all human being.
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead, you know.
But as I mean, look to the history of most religions.
Yeah.
The opposite.
Of-
They seem to enjoy killing each other for the righteousness of their particular ideology. And I think we've gotten it wrong over and over and over and over and over again. And again, you got to remember, war is profit. War makes money. And it will continue to make money. And
For who? For who?
For the
Who
people
gets the
that-
money? We don't get money. I'm not getting a check in the mail.
Of course not.
I'm not getting a check in the mail for
You're
lost
not going to get
lives.
the check, Todd. You're not going to get the check.
Yeah,
You're not Bechtel. You're not Halliburton. You're not Grumman.
exactly. So who
Okay.
gets the check is my question for the
I just
audience to
told you.
hear. For
I
the
just told
audience to hear, please.
The people that made all the weapons that we funded and brought to Ukraine, the people that made all the weapons that the Russians have, those are the people that are making the money.
And they are pushing for the war. Okay, like
Because their God is money. Okay, their God is money. They don't care about humanity. They care about money.
everyone knows.
They want less people.
Of course, our gun industry, our Boeing, so-called Lockheed Martin, they making the all fighter jet and tank. They are making billions of dollars, not our general public. Okay, they are pushing for the war. They have a lobbyist. They hired the lobby. You know, doing for war. Yeah. What do you think, Mila? Do you have any voice, please?
Oh, well, I don't know. This just having this conversation definitely hits somewhere where you don't want to be hit. Actually, it's what I must admit that I really find so the most horrible thing really in it all is how little people actually know what's going on. And that, you know, if there was something that we could do. If there was something that would help anything, then it would be obviously to shout all over everywhere on all medias, all over the planet non-stop, you know, don't fight, don't do it, because you're the slaves. I mean, come on, man, what are they gonna do with us people? We are the ones running the wheels for them always, the whole time. And we're suffering and paying for it, and we work our lives away and whatnot, and it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse and worse because we put up with it. If we would have, you know, people don't believe, for example, that we could live in something that would be like an utopia. It would be so easy if we had, if we grew up with schooling, if we grew up with schools of wisdom, we would think completely different. We would do completely different. That's all it takes. You know, give me your children when they're small and I'll make anything out of them.
Yeah.
You know, you are right.
Exactly.
Education.
Yeah.
Yeah, but wisdom education, not this education that you have to go out and work and you have to make money and you have to achieve some kind of status and make yourself a name or whatever the hell it might be. You know, this is all insanity. And then there is, of course, all the other things to go with it, which is what we have learned to feel matters in our lives. Oh, wow, I want that car, I want a big nice house, I want to be so comfortable and blah, blah, blah. And then when you start talking about all these things and how wrong they are, then usually what most people end up feeling is like, but I don't want to give any of that up for anything in the world.
It's mine.
And, yeah, but the funny thing is that we wouldn't have to. If we would change, like today, we would just change and have a school system of wisdom, then come on, we would all have comfort. We would all have beautiful things, and we wouldn't, all these needlessly insane things that are going on everywhere, they wouldn't be happening. It's just as simple as that. And of course, nobody will believe it. Of course, it's really hard to believe because you've never been presented with the samples and examples of these kind of things. No, I mean, you would have to see lots of movies. No, that's usually what helps us to be able to see things, right? So we're helpless. We're just being entertained, and that's exactly also what this is about now. It's a lot of things in one. It's also being used for this purpose, just like what we saw here. That we tried to talk about it, and people end up arguing, and people end up getting upset. I mean, that is like shooting oneself in the head kind of thing. And you wouldn't get upset if there wasn't anything that touched some fear in you. You wouldn't get upset because every bad feeling roots. That's exactly what people think. It took me ages to understand that, but it's the truth. Every bad feeling has its roots in some kind of fear. And that's something for us ourselves to go home and contemplate about. And it can take a long time. It took me a long time to identify how that actually can really be true, because I'm getting freaking angry and I'm getting fucking upset, and I'm not scared. On the contrary, I feel like I could kill anybody right now and I get angry. So that took me a long time to dig in deep and find how the hell is that actually the truth, that every bad feeling actually somewhere roots in some fear. But that is the truth.
If I may explain for myself as an
Of
individual,
course.
why
We just shouldn't take it personal, nothing.
But I'd like to explain myself if I could, if that's possible.
Yeah, of course you can. Of course you can. I'm just reminding
Go
you.
ahead.
Can I talk now?
Yeah.
Thanks. All right. The reason I'm upset is because I feel more than the common person, okay? I don't go out and buy an AR-15. I'm not that guy, okay? I'm a sensitive person. I'm a feeling person. I care about people. Now, when they even put it on the headlines, anything about an orphanage being bombed, I'm done. Done with the news for the day. I'm going to sit down and try to contemplate something nice, or maybe be in the nature while it still exists. Thank you. Thank you. Because if you don't think it affects you,
Exactly.
give it
You
time.
feel
Feel a little bit. Maybe feel for others. Feel, not just for yourself, and then it's great.
We do, of course we do.
you know
I'm just telling the audience. I'm telling the audience. It's not personal.
Right.
exactly your mind, you are so sensitive. Don't take the sensitive. And like myself, I have a lot of things to see and write and say, but I cannot do lot of things. These days, right now, whatever Russia doing, bombing the hospital, school, college, and residential place is not good. Same, we are blaming Russia, but what we are
Not
doing,
Russia, Putin. Not Russia, Putin. Let's be
listen,
clear.
country of Russia, whatever we are doing right now in Middle East, Yemen, we destroy everything. Yemenis, house, school, college, institute. Any media showing these things? No. This is called racism. Okay? Number one, racism. I don't know Morgan with me or not. This is totally still right now. They are bombing.
I think the reason, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Go ahead.
I think the reason, I just think that the reason why they're not bothering to cover Yemen is because that is not going to terrify the crap out of everybody in the world.
Yeah.
I think it's as simple as that.
Mila has a point. The Ukrainian crisis being as devastating as it is, the footage of it plays into a larger picture when presented to the Western world. Yemen it's hard to get people in the West to connect and feel empathetic Doesn't mean that they shouldn't. They absolutely should. But it's not being used for the same goals and end result. And what that is, I'm not really sure. But we can look at Libya. But before Gaddafi was killed, Libya was one of the most prosperous nations in the world. Again, kicked out the international financiers and was running on gold. And every time someone got married, had a baby, again, I'm not 100% sure on the facts, but they got like $50,000 from the government. I mean, Gaddafi was taking care of his people, and he was labeled as a terrorist and a horrible person and an international war crimes kind of person throughout the Western media. And who goes in there and then brags about it, says, we came, we saw, he died. Old Hillary herself. You know, these are the people, because he wasn't going to open up the world to get absolutely devastated by the world financial markets, who are, they're parasitic. Okay, we're dealing with parasitic entities, whether it's monetary, energetic, they're parasitic. And that's all they care about is using you. And they will use us for our emotions and divide us against each other based on our emotional standpoints. And it's very important to keep yourself centered and say, you know, yes, we may see things differently, but we cannot fight each other. We have to be able to hear each other and to be empathic. And like what Mila talked to about the way schools bring people up, it is an egocentric commercialism that is the religion of most of the West. Okay, you find your meaning. Your individual meaning is based on what you have, what you drive, your brand name, all this stuff. And the stuff at the end of the day means nothing, because guess what? You don't take it with you when you pass, right? It gets passed on. It goes to the dump. It's meaningless. But in the meantime, what we use it to separate ourselves from our neighbors and say, well, I'm better than him because I have this Ford and he's driving this, you know, beat up old car. It's a complete fallacy. And we lose the ability to be able to come together and see each other as human beings and walk in each other's shoes when we separate each other by the levels and strata that we spend at, and how we identify our own selves with our spending levels, the amount of money we have. It's all debt anyway, right? I mean, most people don't own their homes or their cars. It's all debt. It's not real. And we're going to go into debt over if we get involved in fighting the Ukraine. However it's viewed by anybody that's watching this, we will go into debt for doing it. The World Monetary System. I mean, there's a great book called The Confessions of an Economic Hitman, and it's a sidebar I'm not going to get into, but debt is how they break nations that want to stay outside the system. And you better believe that it's a tried and true method. And what we watch on the news, you have to take it with more than one grain of salt. Okay, you see stuff and it's designed. It's scientifically designed to hit you right in your most sensitive parts and get the emotion out of you. Because they run on emotion. They run on you being in a highly emotive, agitated state. You need to step back from what you see and say, okay, hold on a second. I can't go into this full-fledged with all my emotions and my sensitivity because I'm a sensitive person. And I know that they want to bring that out of me and use it against me. So with my critical thinking, what narrative is this playing into right now? And that it does distance you from the immediate emotional impact, but it also saves you from being used as someone who is a sensitive feeling individual.
I don't feel like I'm being used. It's a fact. It's the news. It's every news channel everywhere.
Yeah, the news is not fact.
Is reporting on it. What is not fact, Mila?
The mainstream news is not fact.
So you're saying there's nothing. What are you saying? What are you saying, Mila? You're in Europe. Tell me what you're saying.
They will use anything that is going on, anything out there. They will use to twist and turn, use it against us in this way to make us upset, arguing, fighting, scared, all these frustrated things. You know, that's what it is, and to keep us, most of all, to keep us, of course, in fear and being unable to take our attention off this kind of thing in general. Because, you know, while we are looking this way, the important shit is happening behind our backs. So what is happening right now? Well, you just said the breaking the finances, the side of our lives. This is already sorry, but this is already, I'm European. This is already broken, no? I mean, the money that exists, all the money, most of the money in the entire world belong to the Federal Reserve, and
Can I add
all of
something
that
real
money.
quick? Can I add something real quick? You're talking about what's happening behind our backs. Pfizer was just forced to release the documents on their trials on the medicine. I use that with air quotes. The medicines that were forced on lots of people quietly. While this was happening in the Ukraine, what came out quietly? All these documents that they wanted to bury for 75 years. For 75 years, they wanted this stuff to stay buried, and they got forced to release it, and it's coming out now very quietly, and it doesn't look very good. And there you go. I mean, what's happening behind you?
Yeah. Okay. Well, there is. I guess there are several things happening. So you know something, I'll know something else, and whatever. And that's why we need to be able to have these conversations without getting upset and angry and taking anything personal. We have to manage to be selfless, as a
Absolutely.
really unconditionally compassionate selfless in these discussions. And wow, I mean, one of the other things that is happening the whole time while we've been busy with the pandemic and now we kept busy with the war, it's this whole grid of surveillance. So it's so obvious that, come on, nobody wanted to believe in the big reset. Nobody wanted to believe in all these stories about that you're gonna own nothing and you're gonna be happy and blah blah blah, right? But this is exactly, it's so obvious. This is exactly what's happening.
What was
The
that?
economy is being completely destroyed.
Social credit score? I just want to hear that. Yeah.
Yes,
Also, I
but-
want to hear both of you.
Yeah, that's gonna be the next thing, you know, forget about that you have any credit score financially, but suddenly it's gonna be your freedom that's at stake, and this is already happening. We've
Class
seen
warfare.
examples of it.
Class warfare.
Yeah, look at China.
But we're gonna be completely surveilled non-stop every step of your way. If you're snoring, they hear it. If you sneeze, they hear it. If you flush the toilet, they know it.
It's already
I mean, okay, just
Doesn't China do
yeah,
that?
exactly. This is already happening, but it's just
What's
getting
happening
more
here
intense.
already?
More, yeah, it's getting intense. It's getting worse. And there is so many things, you know, that have become also so ridiculed. For example, the whole wireless, right, technology and what those radiations do to us.
Mhm.
I mean, come on, man. If there's something that this, sorry to say this, but if there's something that this upgrade, this G5 does, what it does to your cells, it makes it like almost impossible. It makes it very difficult for the cells if you get exposed to enough of it, or if your system is sensitive enough to it, so that your cells can't carry oxygen.
Exactly.
And what has been
You don't
happening
uptake
this
oxygen.
whole pandemic? Yeah, and what has been happening this whole pandemic? Exactly, symptoms like that has been happening this whole pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
So all these things come together, and we want to sit and argue and be stupid and say, conspiracy, you're a conspiracy idiot. It's got nothing to do with conspiracy. It's just that all the research that you're being presented in the mainstream media, this was funded by the people that got all their investments in these things.
Not to mention that the technical papers describing all of this exist along with the patents, and they're
Yeah.
government think tank papers. I mean, this stuff is only conspiracy theory to the people that rely on the mainstream news for their information, because they're never going to tell you this because it doesn't fit their end goal.
Can I interfere, Morgan? If you
course,
know,
of course.
2001, BBC and CNN, they bring also Fox. They bring what Saddam Hussein. They have a nuclear bomb. If America or Britain, Western Alliance, not doing nothing, they're gonna be within 2 days. They're gonna have the atom bomb, big bomb. But what they have? Nothing. The Britain and they pushing always do something in America. The Britain people, they are not losing anything. American people, American government losing their children, losing their money. You know, trillions of dollars. I don't know why we are here from the Britain. What kind of country we have in America? You know, the Todd talking about the whatever happened in Ukraine, mainstream media showing everything. Todd, one thing, brother, mainstream media, majority is lie. Majority is lie. Number one. Number two, think about it. This is Russian people too. This is part of Russia too. Used to be their Soviet Union. Whatever they happen, why our...
It's not the Soviet Union anymore.
We know it's not a Soviet
We
Union.
don't want this. Nobody wants this. Even the Russian people don't want this. Hey, I mean, come on. Are we kidding? I mean, we have people my generation and younger who can't even mention the word war in their country, okay? And they know there's something wrong. What are they supposed to do? What are our brothers and sisters supposed to do? Please, someone tell me.
Listen, do you remember 60s? What's happened? John F. Kennedy?
I wasn't alive then.
No, I know you are not alive then.
I don't remember.
Florida, in Cuba, Havana, they
Wasn't
put
there.
couple of missiles showing our state of Florida. You know?
Cuban Missile Crisis.
Exactly.
Oh, that I remember from the textbooks. It sounded like something
So,
in elementary school.
what we are did, you know, still we are fight with the Cuba. Still we are put lot of embargo, and Cuban people is dying, you know. So-called we have a human rights. Why we gonna be put missile showing Russia? Russia also muscle person. What reason? Huh? Same reason? Cuban missile problem? No. This
What
is
they had going on then, I can only imagine, because I wasn't alive then, okay? I don't think I was.
Exactly.
All right? So,
Exactly.
79, which was another crisis year, right, if I remember correctly, from the headlines. There was
Iranian
some
hostage crisis.
things like that, 79, you remember?
Yeah, of course I remember.
Also?
Iran hostage,
Everybody?
Khomeini hostage. We know that. You know, so many people.
During the Cuban Missile Crisis was a time just like now. The fear in everybody's minds when they go to bed, they don't know what's going to happen. They have no idea. They're scared. They have horrible, horrifying images in their mind. Things they've seen on TV. Things they're imagining. Some people even feel like they're having Ronnie James Dio himself speaking directly into his ear while he's sleeping. So things are getting wild, okay? Thank you. I don't know. Yeah.
You are, you know.
Can I add something here? Can I add? I know we're probably close to ending the show, and
Please.
I want to interject a little thought exercise for everyone that's watching. Whether you think I'm correct or not, I think everybody should try and practice this. Assume that you're working from a perspective that we helped create our own reality. Okay? Let's just take it from that perspective. Now, when we are in fear, we attract fear. We create fear. Well, the things that you want to happen the least, if you focus on them and worry about them and fret over them, you will actually make that happen in your own life. I feel that the people that create what we receive as news and information understand this intrinsically. And so they have the ability to imprint our subconscious, our powerful minds, with the images that they want to see happen in the world around us for their benefit, not for ours. It never benefits us. Being in pain, being in fear does never benefit the individual. It benefits the people that benefit from a scared populace because they offer the solution, the Galilean dialectic, problem, reaction, solution. Okay? Now, if you practice 5 minutes of peaceful meditation, deep breathing, release that fear, release the worry, put it back out. Don't go to bed with it in your head and your heart. Okay? Release it. 5 in, 4 out. 4 in, 5 out. Deep breathing. Don't go to bed with it in your head. Don't allow it to nest inside your mind and your heart. Put it back out. And let's see what happens.
Yes.
At the very
It's very
least,
important.
you will be a more peaceful individual and be able to receive this stuff without it building up into this thunderstorm inside you I'm so mad and I want to help and I'm worried, but I can't do anything about it because I can't do anything about it.
We are doing something about it right now.
Yes, and we're more effective when we're not bunched up in a state of just jumbled emotions. The best thing we can do is have clear, concise, and deep-reaching conversations with mutual respect. Todd, I love you. You were one of my oldest friends. Mila, I've grown to really enjoy talking with you, and I'd like to talk to you more. And Nur, I'm just meeting you, and I respect you greatly. This is what it's about. It's about respecting each other and being able to hear each other and not throwing, buzzwords and stuff at each other because it hits us in the wrong way. It's very important.
Yeah.
We need to be able to talk to each other. Oh,
Thank you very much. You are 100% right. Mila, this is the last word. Our time almost end. Please.
Okay, it's definitely highly relevant and very, very important what Morgan was saying there, and we should definitely all do that. However, in our own way, however you can do that, do it in your own way or whatever works best for you. But it's really important because it's not just imagination. There is actually enough science also that, of course, is also not made mainstream, but there is actually lots of science that knows that this is relevant. This is true. This is our power. We are the ones we've been waiting for. That is so, it's true, that everything is energy. The table you're looking at, the feelings you feel, the thoughts, whatever, it's all energy. And so the energy that we are all generating, since everything, not just us humans, but everything is interconnected, then obviously the energy that we will all generate, that will have an effect on everything that's happening. And so it's important in that way too. It's not just that you're gonna make your own life be a bit safer from all hell breaking loose because you're going around being scared and all those bad feelings. But it actually has an effect on everything, on your environment as well as yourself. So yes, it's very, very important.
Thank you, Mila. Todd, last word, please.
Okay, thank you. I want to thank Morgan, McCoy, and Mila. I should say Mila and Morgan because ladies first. Women's Day was a couple of days ago. Anyway, I want to say to our brothers and sisters everywhere in the world, but especially our brothers and sisters today in Europe, Eastern Europe, we stand with you. We are standing with you, and we love you. We care about you. You are musicians. We know you. We're artists, hardworking people who have had a country that was really flourishing, really looking like something between Czech Republic and Poland as far as, a nice place to live and be. It seemed pretty up and coming. In 2019, I went to the Jazz Festival in Lviv, and it's a horrible thing what's happening right now, and it hits all of us, whether it's at the pump or in your heart and soul. It's gonna hurt. It's gonna feel. You're gonna feel it. You're gonna feel it some way, and I hope that if you feel it, that means you're alive, and that's a good thing. It's good to feel, and don't turn your back. Don't turn your back on your brothers and sisters. If you see something going wrong, tell somebody. If you see something really bad, talk about it with someone you trust and someone you love, and try to be safe in your own life. If you have access to clean drinking water, please drink some clean drinking water and breathe if you can. Thank you so much. We love our guests, love Newer, love Millennium TV. Thank you for watching. Have a pleasant, blessed tomorrow. Thank you.
Likewise.
Morgan, last word.
All I want is for everyone to get along. Is that too much to ask?
Thank you. Thank you very much. Viewers, we are talking about today Eastern Europe, Ukraine, Russia, also Yemen, Syria, Libya, Iraq, Afghanistan, also India. India have so many issues, religious. Minority people in India, Muslim, and majority is Hindu fundamentalist. So they fighting with religious. Whatever Ukraine happen is not a religious fight. But Russian president call this is religious fight, and so many Muslim countries joined with him. Pakistan, Iran, Syria, Libya, and Arab Emirates, also Saudi Arabia, China, India, Bangladesh, all is part of right now Russian bloc. Why? What we did as an American, what wrong we did? Why is our people left us and doing so many wrong things? Is not good things. Our intelligence branch, central intelligence, probably they doing some mistake. They have to work for America. They have to work for American people. Viewers, please pray for the Ukrainian peoples and also Middle Eastern people. So many things happening in our Palestine and Israel. These things have to be stopped. But we never do right politics. We are doing wrong. Anyway, whatever you are, please watch Millennium News 24/7 and Today's America. Also, we are in iOS and all Android device. Also, all smart TVs like Sony, Samsung, LG, Roku, Amazon. Also, Amazon Stick, Roku Stick, Apple TV, Radiant IPTV, Jadu TV, jagobd.com. Also, our all social network address Millennium News 24/7. Our YouTube address News Channel M24. Viewers, our friends, colleague, reporter, editor, and technician working for you round the clock. They making news, views, talk show, editorial, documentary, so many things. Please watch Millennium News 24/7. Also, if anyone like to donate for Ukrainian purpose, please go to Millennium Foundation USA.com. Viewers, whatever you are, stay, peace, love, and happiness. Goodbye and take care for today.